Welcome to a meeting of your Planning Commission, the official local planning agency for the cities of Tampa, Temple Terrace, Plant City, and unincorporated Hillsborough County. The Planning Commission provides innovative leadership and long-range vision that contributes to the creation of a thriving, prosperous community that offers opportunity, fairness, and choice in how we live, move, learn, work, and play. For more information about the Planning Commission, please call 813-272-5940. Follow us on social media or visit our website at planhillsborough.org.
Welcome everyone to the June 13th, 2022 regular meeting of the Hillsborough County City-County Planning Commission. We thank you for attending this meeting. Your comments and participation is encouraged. To minimize feedback in the audio, all participants in the meeting will be muted until it is their opportunity to speak. Please be sure to state your name at the beginning of your remarks for the benefit of the clerk. There will be an opportunity for members of the public to provide comments. When your name is called, you will be unmuted when it is your turn to speak. Please wait until the chair calls on you to begin speaking. State your name at the beginning of your comments and adhere to the time limits. If anyone has difficulties or is watching via HTV and would like to provide comments to be included in the record for local government hearing, please email them to planner@plancom.org. That's planner@plancom.org. For action items, the meeting will be conducted as follows. The agenda item will be introduced. Staff will give their presentation with a 15-minute time limit. The applicant will be given the opportunity to make a presentation with a 15-minute time limit. Following presentations, members of the public may address the Planning Commission when recognized by the chair. Public comment will be heard for 3 minutes per person. The applicant will be afforded a 3-minute period for rebuttal or response. Planning commissioners will ask questions. Public comment will be closed. Then upon a motion, a second, and discussion, a vote will be taken. With that introduction, I will ask all of you to stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and prayer. Heavenly Father, we come before you today with praise for your mighty power and guidance. We thank you for this day. Thank you, too, for the many blessings in our lives, for our great country, and for the opportunity to live in freedom. We ask for your blessings on our leaders, and we ask that you give each one of us here today the wisdom to make the right choices so that our decisions will be in the best interest of the people of Hillsborough County. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. And with that, we will go to our oath of office. Before we do our roll call, we have a new appointee on the Planning Commission from the City of Tampa, Commissioner Soria. Welcome aboard. I will ask the clerk to go ahead and do the oath of office now with you. Okay.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. All right, please stand and raise your right hand.
Good afternoon.
And repeat after me.
Okay.
I state your name.
I, Hemant Kumar Surya,
A planning commissioner appointee of the City of Tampa,
a planning commissioner appointee for City of Tampa,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly affirm, swear or affirm, sorry,
it's do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will faithfully perform the duties of my appointed office
that I will duly perform
the duties of my appointed office
duties of my appointed office
in a fair, equitable, ethical, and dignified manner. In a fair, equitable,
say that again,
equitable,
applicable,
ethical, and dignified manner,
ethical, and dignified manner,
and in compliance with all applicable laws
in compliance with all applicable laws
of the state of Florida, City of Tampa,
of the State of Florida and City of Tampa,
and the practices and procedures established
and practices and procedures established
by the Planning Commission.
by the Planning Commission.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Clerk. Thank you, Commissioner. Welcome aboard. Did you want to take a moment to tell us a little bit about yourself before we moved on?
Sure. You would like to have me stand up, or?
Oh, you could sit there and just speak from the dais,
Okay.
yeah.
Hello, everybody. I'm still very new to the public office, so I might make a lot of mistakes, and my public speaking skills are not very good sometimes, so still learning. Originally, I'm from Nepal, grew up in Kathmandu. I moved to U.S. in 2006, came here for my flight training, and then went back, worked in Nepal, and had the opportunity to come to U.S. and work for regional airlines. So lived in Daytona and then moved to different countries. So currently I'm working for United Airlines as a first officer. And in my free time, I volunteer with Meals on Wheels and try to help the city or the community in every way possible. So I thought it would be a good idea to take participation in the city works and see how it all comes together and make it even better.
All right, very cool.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
All right. With that, now I will move on to our next item, roll call. I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do roll call for the rest of us commissioners.
Bernstein,
Here.
Buzza,
Here.
Cardenas,
Here.
Fernandez, Andy, Cress,
Here.
Loke, Powell,
Here.
Saria,
Here.
Orton,
Here.
Rodriguez, Joseph,
Here.
thank you. You have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, the next item is the approval of minutes for the following meetings. Public hearing on Hillsborough County Plan Amendments, April 11th, 2022. Regular meeting, May 9th, 2022, and the public hearing on the City of Tampa Plan Amendments, May 9th, 2022. Is there a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right, that's a motion by Commissioner Buzza, a second by Commissioner Powell. Is there any discussion, questions on this item from the commissioners? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Buzza,
Yes.
Cardenas,
Yes.
Cress,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Saria,
Yes.
Joseph,
Yes.
thank you. Motion carried 7-0.
Thank you very much. All right, next up is public input for items not scheduled on the agenda for action. I don't have any of those. No one signed up, so we'll move on to item number 3. Action items, first one is 3A. Are these all coming together individual? Or do individual? 3A1, commercial vehicles in residential districts, and the presenter is Sam Thomas.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Sam Thomas, with your Planning Commission staff. Are you guys able to see the screen? You're good now? Okay. So first up is the Land Development Code text amendment for commercial vehicles and equipment in residential districts. This is part of the January 2022 cycle, and it was a publicly initiated amendment. The proposed language seeks to amend Section 27 of the zoning code. The request will amend the definition of commercial equipment and add definitions for personal vehicle and amend restrictions on commercial vehicles in residential districts. So what this basically does is allows for temporary parking of commercial equipment and vehicles to be allowed in residential neighborhoods if a good or service is being provided to the customer that lives in that neighborhood, or if the equipment or vehicle is parked on the street, across, or in front of the residential home of the person who lives in the neighborhood. And additionally, the equipment cannot exceed 9 by 22 if it is going to be parked there. We did our consistency review on this and found multiple aspects of the comprehensive plan that is consistent with. The request will continue to ensure that commercial equipment is sensitive to and non-intrusive to residential areas. And additionally, the City of Tampa Comprehensive Plan seeks to ensure that municipal codes remain sensitive to the changing trends in Tampa's neighborhoods by reviewing all land development regulations. In conclusion, Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed land development code text amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan. I'm available for any questions, and if there are no questions, I will turn it over to LaShawn Dock with the City of Tampa.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. LaShawn Dock, Development Coordination. I had a presentation with all of the items together, like just as a batch, so I'm just going to put up one slide for each as we do each individually, so I appreciate you allowing us to come before you today with these publicly initiated amendments. It has been explained that these are a part of the last amendment cycle for 2022, and the first one that we're discussing is the commercial vehicles in residential districts. He's pretty much covered it all, the Planning Commission staff. The only thing is it does allow for temporary parking, thank you, of commercial equipment in residential districts. We felt it would be better just to add clarification to the code and enforcing it by adding that definition of personal vehicle to distinguish that between personal and commercial. But I am available if you have any questions.
All right, thank you for the presentation. We didn't have, I don't think anyone signed up for public comment on this one, all right. So we'll turn it over to the Planning Commission for questions. Commissioner Buzzer?
Just clarification, what was the definition of temporary in that exclusion for commercial vehicles? I didn't. What would qualify as a temporary use? One day, 2 day, 48 hours, is there?
Right, it's no set time limit for temporary parking. What it is we just distinguish if it is, what we had is a lot of complaints that would come in when there's a business on the corner, you have residents on the block.
Right.
Temporary is something where they say we're coming to unload.
Okay, so it wouldn't
The
be a
vehicle.
temporary overnight
No.
use that would be really hard for code enforcement to ever enforce. 'Cause
Correct.
they say, hey, I'm just keeping it one night and then it's gone. So just.
And they keep
it
saying
would be
it's
in-
overnight and overnight.
Just within that 1 day frame. of the
Correct.
window. Okay, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
I have one more.
Hang on, Commissioner Soria.
sorry.
You got to wait for me to call your name, actually, before you.
Sorry about
But go ahead, please. Yes, please, Commissioner Soria.
One more question I had is when it was mentioned it's temporary, like if it's every day, would that be considered temporary as well, like regular unloading using commercial vehicles?
Yes, because the hope is that they don't have to permanently park in front of a residence. But there are some businesses that are just on the outskirts of the residential districts.
Okay.
So we just want to ensure that it's not anything where someone's coming parking at 8 in the morning and then their vehicle is there till 2 in the afternoon every day.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. We actually didn't have anyone sign up for this one, but HTV let me know we did have someone online who did have a comment, so I'm going to allow the person online to have their 3 minutes for public comment. HTV, what was the name of the individual?
We
Mr.
did have
Mauricio
anybody sign
Rosas?
up on our list.
Or, sorry, I guess he didn't sign up. Mr. Rosas? Mauricio Rosas?
Yes.
Please,
present.
go ahead. You have 3 minutes to make your comments on the item.
Yes, thank you very much. I'd like to say that I think that this particular resolution and amendment is very important to the Tampa urban core. It is something that we continue to face here on Florida Avenue and Nebraska Avenue, as well as as well as other corridors within this section. the question about how long a commercial vehicle can stay on the property or on the street is very important, because we have many small businesses or mid-sized businesses who do have trucks, and they are parked on the streets, on the side streets, not necessarily directly in front of their storefront. It's a problem that we are facing right now on Giddens. We're facing the same problem on Idlewild. We're facing the same problem on Fern. And we have been working with the mobility department to find a better solution to this. I think this is a step in the right direction, but I think a definition of the length of time a commercial vehicle is allowed to stay there should be included in this amendment. And that's my comment for this. Do I comment on the other ones that I also intended to talk about? Or just this one?
Not at this time. We're only dealing with this item at this time.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Thank
Okay,
you for your comments. HTV, could you find out what other one he wanted to comment on also, please? Thank you. Did you want to make a rebuttal, Ms. Doc? Obviously, public comment is usually followed by rebuttal. So.
Yes, LaShawn, Doc Development Coordination, and we tried to actually address what the caller is actually referencing with the commercial vehicles and residential. We did not put the specification on the length of time, but this is at the phase after this hearing where it would go to City Council first reading. And after first reading, there is still a chance to make modifications to the language, but I'm not certain. I believe he had communications with our zoning administrator, Eric Cotton, but it's something that we can certainly look at between now and first reading, or if it is the direction of the commissioners.
All right, thank you. All right, were there any more questions or comments, discussions from the commissioners on this item, given this new information? Not seeing any lights come on, so I will then go ahead and close the public comment on this item and open up the floor for motions from the commissioners on this item. Commissioner Bernstein.
We need your mic on, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I would move that we find proposed LDC text amendment pertaining to the parking of commercial vehicles in residential districts consistent with the Imagine 2040 comprehensive plan, that we pass that recommendation along to the Tampa City Council for its consideration and approval.
Second.
All right, I have a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Bernstein, a second to that motion by Commissioner Buzza. Is there any more discussions, any more questions from the commissioners on this item? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Buzza,
Yes.
Cardenas,
Yes.
Kress,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Saria,
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes,
Thank you. Motion carried 7-0.
thank you. Thank you for the information and the presentations. All right, next item up is 382 Street Cafes, and the presenter again, Sam Thomas.
Good afternoon again, Sam Thomas. Our next one is Land Development Code text amendment on street cafes. This was also initiated in the January 2022 cycle, and it was a publicly initiated amendment. I would like to point out this picture is a good example of what the street cafe is. You can see where the sidewalk ends right here, and then where the lifted platform starts here, and the parking spot. There's some other pictures that I've included in here that are street cafes, but this picture is the best example of what exactly the pros text amendment is talking about. So the proposed language seeks to amend Section 27. The request will amend the definition of street cafes, and it clarifies that street cafes are permitted through an SU1 special permit. A street cafe will be defined as an extension of the approved sidewalk cafe and the public right-of-way, that is a removable platform, substructure that occupies all portions of the designated parking space that is closed to motor vehicles. So I'll flip back to that picture so you can see the platform and what it's talking about there. Staff reviewed the request and found it consistent with multiple aspects of the comprehensive plan. The request continues to ensure that street cafes are allowed and furthers comprehensive plan policies by allowing small-scale development on underutilized land that promotes well-designed urban environments and creates a vibrant, livable communities. And then it also is compliant with the other comprehensive policy plan that seeks to review municipal codes and remain sensitive to the changing needs of Tampa's urban neighborhoods and reviewing all land development regulations. That concludes my presentation. Planning Commission staff recommends that you find the proposed language, the proposed land development code text amendment be consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you.
I'll turn it over to LaShawn Dock now.
LaShawn Dock, Development Coordination. And Sam has done a great job in describing this particular amendment. With the success of Lift Up Local, we have put this in place. We have proposed this language to allow the street cafes. As he mentioned, you would have to receive approval for your sidewalk cafe, and then that would allow an extension of that sidewalk cafe with your street cafe. So you must have that prior to having the street cafe. Also, when this is at City Council for first reading, the objective is to have our changes to Chapter 22 to coincide with that. And that is where our streets and sidewalk code is located. So we plan to run those concurrently so that by July, we'll have that in effect. So I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you. We didn't have anyone sign up for public comment on this item, so we will turn it over to the commissioners for questions or comments on this item. Not seeing any at this time. I will go ahead and close public comment on this item and open it up to motions. Commissioner Powell, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to make a motion that we find the proposed LDC text amendment related to street cafes consistent with the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan and forward this recommendation to Tampa City Council.
All right, I have a motion of consistency finding from Commissioner Powell. Commissioner Bernstein. Commissioner Buzza. A second to that motion by Commissioner Buzza. That's a motion of consistency finding made by Commissioner Powell and a second to that motion by Commissioner Buzza. Are there any more questions or discussions this item from the commissioners? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Buzza?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Kress?
Yes.
Howell?
Yes.
Saria?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 7-0.
Thank you. All right, next up, action item 3A3, Land Development Code Text Amendment, Storefront Residential Parking. Sam Thomas.
Sam Thomas again. So this is Land Development Code Text Amendment for Storefront Residential Parking. This was also initiated in the January 2022 cycle and was publicly initiated amendment. The request will establish one off-street parking space per the ratio of non-residential uses, plus one parking space per dwelling unit for storefront residential, office, and private institutional uses. Under the proposed parking requirement, development would comply with the required number of parking per square foot for the proposed commercial or office use, in addition to the one parking space per dwelling unit. Staff has reviewed the changes and found that it is consistent with the comprehensive plan. It encourages a mixed-use development pattern that can be achieved under the development under storefront residential uses, and that is encouraged by the comprehensive plan. And then lastly, as you're seeing with this, we do use the policy LU 13.1.4 and find it consistent that we review it with the changing needs and trends in Tampa's urban neighborhoods by reviewing the land development regulations. Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed land development code text be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan. That concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions. If there are no questions, I'll turn it over to LaShawn Dock now.
LaShawn Dock with Development Coordination. And the only thing to add to the request for the storefront residential parking is we currently have the definition in the zoning code in section 2743. And we also recognize it in the special districts of Seminole Heights and the NMU, the neighborhood mixed use districts. Those were the last two special districts created in the zoning code. So for consistency, we wanted to actually have this added. It should be in the parking table because it is a permitted use. So this would allow us to have that consistency in the code. And I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We didn't have anyone sign up in a public comment, so to the commissioners, Commissioner Powell?
Yes, just a quick question for LaShawn. Does this require someone to apply for a permit? Like, would you apply for a parking permit? Or like a sticker permit?
What would happen is as you permit your use of storefront residential and you get your building permit, you would have to show your compliance.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Are there any more comments or questions on this item from the commissioners? Not seeing any lights at this time. I'll go on ahead and close the public comment and open it up to motions, commissioners, on this item. Commissioner Buzza.
I move that we find Section 27 LDC storefront residential parking consistent with the Imagine 2040 plan and forward it on to the county commission, or excuse me, city.
Thank you, Commissioner Buzza. Oh, Commissioner Bernstein, sorry.
Yeah, and I'll second that motion.
All right, we have a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Buzza, a second to that motion by Commissioner Bernstein. Are there any more questions or discussion from the commissioners on this item? Seeing none at this time, I will go ahead and ask the clerk to do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Buzza,
Yes.
Cardenas,
Yes.
Kress,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Saria,
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 7-0.
Thank you. All right, our next item up for business, 3A4, 27, Section 27 Land Development Code Text Amendment, Home-Based Business. And the presenter is Danny Collins. Sorry, Mr. Collins.
Good afternoon. This is Danny Collins with your Planning Commission staff. Before we get started, I just want to make a quick correction for the record. In the last sentence of our first paragraph, we make reference to the DRC and Development Review and Compliance staff. This is a carryover from a previous report and can be removed from this report. Today I'll be presenting a Land Development Code text amendment relating to home-based businesses. This is part of the January 2022 cycle of text amendments. It's publicly initiated. The proposed amendment seeks the following changes. It amends and clarifies the definition of home-based businesses in the LDC in sections 27-156 and 27-177. Those sections are being amended to update the home-based business use from an S1 special use zone administrative review to a permitted accessory use. Additionally, several sections are being amended to update the name from home occupation and changing it to home-based businesses. And that will be changed in those sections stated after that bullet. And then section 27-282.5 is being amended to add certain language and is just a general cleanup to the chapter. The Planning Commission staff reviewed the requests and find the changes will continue to refine the LDC. It provides clarity and streamlines the development review process. And also it continues to ensure home-based businesses are sensitive and compatible with surrounding residential neighborhoods. Based on those considerations, the Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed LDC text amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policy. I think it just went off. And that concludes my presentation.
LaShawn Dock with Development Coordination. Danny did a great job. I don't have any more to add, just to mention that this is a requirement. This was a state legislative approval, and it required us to amend our zoning code. So of the batch of amendments we have today, about 4 of those are to actually come in line with the state legislative approvals. I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you. All right, we didn't have anyone sign up for public comment on this one either, so I will turn it over to the commissioners at this time for questions or comments on this item. Not seeing any in the room, I'll go ahead and close public comment and open it up to motions on this item from the commissioners. Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Make a motion that we find the proposed LDC text amendment related to home-based businesses consistent with Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan and forward this recommendation to Tampa City Council.
All right, we have a motion for second. Commissioner Bernstein.
Yeah, I'll second Commissioner
right.
Powell's motion.
We have a motion for consistency finding by Commissioner Powell, a second to that motion by Commissioner Bernstein. Is there any more discussion, questions from the commissioners? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Buzza,
Yes.
Cardenas,
Yes.
Kress,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Faria,
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 7-0.
Thank you. Next item up, 3A5, Land Development Code Text Amendment, Development Review Compliance Definition. Danny Collins.
Danny Collins again with the Planning Commission staff. This is Tampa LDC text amendment pertaining to the DRC definition. This is part of the January 2022 cycle and is publicly initiated. The proposed amendment seeks the following changes. It amends the definition of development review and compliance staff and adds language that the DRC shall act as the design review board in the LDC. The Planning Commission staff reviewed the request and found that it continues to ensure that municipal codes remain sensitive to the changing trends and needs of Tampa's neighborhoods by reviewing all land development regulations. Additionally, it provides clarity and will continue to streamline the development review process. Based on those considerations, the Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed LDC text amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan. This concludes my presentation, and I'll turn it over to LaShawn.
LaShawn Dock, Development Coordination. I just wanted to place the definition as amended for the DRC. This would allow us, this is another legislative change where we are amending the zoning code to become consistent and allow us to continue doing those reviews. So I'm available if you have any questions.
All right, we didn't have thank you. We didn't have anyone sign up for public comment on this item either, so I will turn it over to the commissioners for comments or questions. I'm not seeing any lights in the room. I will go on ahead and close. Oh, Commissioner Bernstein. Oh, sorry. Quick draw. All right. Close public comment and open it up to motions. Commissioner Bernstein.
At this time, Mr. Chair, I would move that we find the proposed LDC text amendment related to development review compliance, DRC definition consistent with the goals, policies, and objectives of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, and that we pass it along to the Tampa City Council for their consideration.
All right, I have a motion of consistency.
Second.
And second to that motion by Commissioner Powell. Is there any more discussion of this item from the commissioners? Seeing none at this time, I'll go ahead and ask the clerk to do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Buzza,
Yes.
Cardenas,
Yes.
Kress,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Faria,
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 7-0.
Thank you. All right, the next item up is 3A6, Land Development Code Text Amendment, Bonus Provisions for Graywater. And the presenter is Emily Phelan.
Hi, good afternoon. Emily Phelan with your Planning Commission staff. I'll be presenting on the Land Development Code Text Amendment for Bonus Provision for Graywater. This was part of the January 2022 cycle, and it was publicly initiated. The request defines graywater technology, and it adds graywater technologies to the bonus provision section as an incentive to achieve a density/intensity bonus. Planning Commission staff reviewed it for the consistency, and the text amendment ensures that municipal codes remain sensitive to the changing trends and needs of Tampa's neighborhoods by reviewing all land development regulations, and it also promotes conservation techniques and reduces the unnecessary use of potable water. At this time, Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed Land Development Code text amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan. I'm available if you have any questions, and if there are no questions, I'll turn it over to LaShawn Dock.
LaShawn Dock with Development Coordination. And this would be a new provision that would allow you to achieve bonus density with your development. So the triggers are you would achieve a bonus intensity or density of 25% if at least 75% of your development has a great water system installed. And if it is 30%, if you provide that, you would be able to achieve 100% towards your bonus. This is another legislative change. So we are implementing this into the zoning code for consistency. And I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you. All right, we didn't have anyone sign up for public comments, so we'll turn it over to commissioners. Commissioner Kress, please.
LaShawn, since you opened this can of worms.
Yes.
Are there any tools in your toolbox that can also help reduce the amount of just turf that we have with, with development at all? I know it's probably not multifamily related, but.
We are thinking in the future to look at even the natural resources section of the code. You're going to see some amendments that come through both privately and publicly initiated. But that is something that we are looking to achieve in the near future.
I mean, it's great that we'd use gray water to water our lawn, but it'd be even greater if we didn't have as much lawn.
Yes, yes.
Great, all right. Well,
for
thanks
efficiency, definitely, yes.
Thank you for continuing to look at that.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Good questions. Yes, Commissioner Powell.
Yeah, I guess maybe you can just give me a quick education. What's the difference in gray water and reclaimed water?
So the reclaimed, I'm not certain of the definition with the reclaimed water. But the gray water is the water that's used, whether it's left over from washing and what could be utilized for watering the yards. And that's what we've added and incorporated in just as that incentive, because prior to that, we would not recognize it. But the specific definition for reclaimed, I'd have to check and see what we have listed, if it's
I
in the
just didn't know
zoning
if those
code.
were like the same thing or if that's something completely separate.
It is a separate category, and a great question. So if you can give me a moment for the next one,
Sure.
then I can let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay.
Are there any other questions from the commissioners? Not seeing any at this time. I'll go ahead and close public comment on this item and open it up to motions. Commissioner Powell.
Make a motion that we find the proposed LDC text amendment relating to the bonus provision for gray water consistent with the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan and forward this recommendation to Tampa City Council.
Right.
Second.
Motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Powell, a second to that motion by Commissioner Buzza. Is there any more discussion on this item or questions from the commissioners? Not seeing any, I will ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote at this time.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Buzza,
Yes.
Cardenas,
Yes.
Kress,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Saria,
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 7-0.
Thank you. All right. The next item up is 3A7, Land Development Code Text Amendment, Alcoholic Beverage Sales Enforcement, and the presenter is Emily Phelan again.
Hi, Emily Phelan with your Planning Commission staff. I'll be presenting on alcoholic beverage sales enforcement text amendment. This was part of the January 2022 cycle, and it was publicly initiated. The request adds language that will allow City Council to grant an emergency public hearing to revoke or suspend an approval for alcoholic beverage sales if City Council determines that the conditions are unsafe. The Planning Commission staff reviewed this, and the request ensures that municipal codes remain sensitive to the changing trends and needs of Tampa's neighborhoods by reviewing all land development regulations, and it continues to promote alcohol sales to be appropriately buffered from residential uses. Based on those considerations, the Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed Land Development Code text amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan. If you have any questions, I'm available. If not, I'll leave it over to LaShawn Doc.
LaShawn Doc, Development Coordination. This is a change which is proposed when we had COVID We realized there were some locations that required a sense of emergency to be able to act upon the license and to get a location before council. So this allows us that capability. Instead of providing a 30-day notice required by code currently, it would allow the 15-day notice in times of emergency, which would have to be deemed by council still, so. And I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you. Are there any, no one signed up for public comment on this item, so we're going to turn it right over to the commissioners for questions or comments, discussion. Not seeing any at this time. I'll go ahead, close public comment, and open it up for motions from the commissioners. Commissioner Bernstein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I would move that we find proposed LDC text amendment relating to alcoholic beverage sales enforcement consistent with the goals, policies, and objectives of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, and we pass that recommendation along to the Tampa City Council for their consideration.
All right.
Second.
I have a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Bernstein and a second to that motion by Commissioner Buzza. There any more discussion or questions on this item from the commissioners? Seeing none at this time, I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Buzza,
Yes.
Cardenas,
Yes.
Kress,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Saria,
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 7-0.
All right. Our next item of business is 3A, another Land Development Code text amendment, food trucks, and the presenter is Emily Phelan.
Hi, Emily Phelan with your Planning Commission staff. I'll be presenting on the Land Development Code text amendment relating to food trucks. This was part of the January 2022 cycle, and it's also a publicly initiated amendment. The request amends the definition for food trucks, and it amends the sections that are listed to update food trucks as permitted uses in certain zoning districts, and it also Section 27-282.30 is being added to create standards that shall apply to all food trucks. The Planning Commission staff reviewed this, and the request ensures that municipal codes remain sensitive to the changing trends and needs of Tampa's neighborhoods by reviewing all land development regulations, and it continues to ensure food trucks are buffered from residential uses. Based on those considerations, Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed Land Development Code text amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan. That concludes my presentation. If there are any questions, if not, I'll turn it over to LaShawn Doc.
LaShawn Doc, Development Coordination. And Commissioners, this is one of the items which is a part of the legislative approvals that were recently passed, and we are just amending the code to make it consistent. I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions? No one signed up for public comment on this item, so I'll turn it over to the commissioners. Any questions or comments on this item from commissioners? Not seeing any lights, I will close public comment and open it up for motions on this item. Commissioner Buzza.
Thank you, Chair. I move that we find Section 27 LDC food trucks compatible with Imagine 2040 and forward this on to the Tampa City Commission.
All right. I have a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Buzza. Do I hear a second by Commissioner Powell? All right, so that's a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Buzza, a second to that motion by Commissioner Powell. Is there any more discussion of this item from the commissioners at this time? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Buzza,
Yes.
Cardenas,
Yes.
Kress,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Saria,
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 7-0.
Thank you. All right, next up, item 3A7, another Land Development Code text amendment, transfer of development rights, and the presenter is Danny Collins.
Danny Collins with the Planning Commission staff. This is LDC text amendment related to transfer of development rights. This is part of the January 2022 cycle of LDC text amendments. It's publicly initiated. The proposed amendment seeks the following changes. It removes a reference to section 27-282.23. Currently, this section is marked as reserved in the LDC. This reference is being replaced with language to clarify the TDR process. The amendment will apply the procedures for written determinations as formal decisions to the TDR process, which is an existing process in the LDC. Planning Commission staff reviewed the request and found that the amendment will continue to encourage development regulations to be streamlined to reduce unnecessary delays in the development review process, and it would also provide clarity in the LDC for the public. Based on those considerations, the Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed LDC text amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
LaShawn, Doc, Development Coordination. I don't have anything additional to add. I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you. All right, we didn't have anyone sign up for public comment on this item either, so I will turn it over to the commissioners for questions or comments. Commissioner Bernstein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I would move that we find the proposed LDC text amendment relating to transferred development rights consistent with the goals, policies, and objectives of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, and that we pass that along to the Tampa City Council for their consideration.
All right, I'm going to hold that motion because we're still in the public comment quick draw. But do any of the commissioners have any more questions on this item? No. Okay. I will open it up and entertain this motion now from Commissioner Bernstein. Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All right. So we have a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Bernstein, a second to that motion by Commissioner Buzza. Any more discussion or questions from the commissioners on this item? Seeing none at this time, I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Buzza,
Yes.
Cardenas,
Yes.
Kress,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Saria,
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 7-0.
All right. And next up, we have 3A10, another Land Development Code text amendment, and formal decisions. Staff presenter is Danny Collins.
Danny Collins again with your Planning Commission staff. This is LDC text amendment relating to formal decisions. This is part of the January 2022 cycle of LDC text amendments. It's publicly initiated. The proposed amendment seeks the following changes. It amends section 27-11 relating to the authority of the zoning administrator to make a formal decision related to the creation of new lots and the reduction of lot or yard dimensions below the minimum requirements. The amendment will also allow the zoning administrator to recognize through the formal decision process a non-compliant setback. Planning Commission staff reviewed the request and found that it continues to streamline development regulations to reduce unnecessary delays in the development review process, which is consistent with Land Use Policy 8.15.1. Based on those considerations, the Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed LDC text amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan. This concludes my presentation, and I'll turn it over to LaShawn.
LaShawn, Doc, Development Coordination. I don't have anything to add to the formal decision process. That is not a legislative change that we're making in the code. This will be our last amendment, I believe, for review. So I just want to review with you the processing schedule, the next steps for this set of publicly initiated amendments. We would have City Council first reading in July on the 14th, and then from there we'd have second reading and approval. And so we've had our public information meeting and our City Council workshop. And I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you. All right. We had no one sign up for public comment on this item either, so I will turn it over to the commissioners for comments, questions, discussion. Not seeing any at this time. I'll open it up for motions on this item from the commissioners. Commissioner Bernstein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I would move that we find proposed LDC text amendment relating to formal decisions consistent with the goals, policies, and objectives of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, and that we pass that finding along to the Tampa City Council for their consideration.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Bernstein, a second to that motion by Commissioner Buzza. Is there any more discussion or questions on this item from the commissioners? Seeing none at this time, I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Buzza,
Yes.
Cardenas,
Yes.
Kress,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Saria,
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 7-0.
Thank you. All right, and thank you all for those presentations on the Land Development Code text amendments. We will move now on to our next action item, 3B, which is amended parking requirements in the central business and channel districts. And the presenters are Danny Collins and Sam Thomas.
Still one more LDC amendment left to go. I think this might be the last one, though. Are you all able to see the screen now? Perfect. So this is Land Development Code amendment, amending the parking requirements in the Central Business District and the Channel District. This was initiated in the January 2022 cycle. It was privately initiated, not publicly initiated like the other ones that we've had just go before you. So the proposed request, or the proposed amendment seeks to update the parking ratios and include an average 50% reduction in required parking by use, and it recalibrates certain ratios to align better with the function of use within the Central Business District and the Channel District. And additionally, the amendment seeks to provide general code cleanup and consolidation related to parking requirements. Staff has reviewed the amendment and found it consistent with multiple aspects of the comprehensive plan. The reduction in parking requirements and general code cleanup will provide clarity and streamline the development and review process. And the reduction in parking requirements will help to create an environment that places a high priority on transit and pedestrian safety. Additionally, the changes will encourage more diverse housing opportunities and ensure that parking is compatible with the desired character and district, that development and redevelopment will be urban in character. Planning Commission staff reviewed the proposed land development code and suggests that it be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Tampa 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan. And that concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Does the applicant have a presentation?
And just point of interest, I did fill out this form. I will be abstaining from voting, although I don't personally financial benefit from any of this. I was.
Thank you, Commissioner Kress, or applicant Kress in this.
It's funny being down here. Okay, so this was the presentation that I gave to Tampa City Council in the form of a workshop a few months ago. And it ended up being a little bit rushed because it was between me and lunch with them. But I can tell you that there was a lot of kind of positive head nodding from Tampa City Council members. Tampa City staff, LaShawn and others have been great kind of queuing them up. We've been working on parking issues for a while, so this is just kind of like the next step. I'm just going to kind of gloss over this, but it really aligns with the mayor's strategic initiatives that she has outlined here. It kind of checks all of the different boxes. This is an interesting visual that shows you how much of our space downtown is dedicated to parking. And I compared that with parks in green, so you can see what wins. And then, of course, I think we all understand the relationship between parking and housing, the housing affordability crisis that we have right now. So again, I'll just kind of quickly go through some of this, but this is, I think, a pretty striking image that shows you how much space is dedicated to parking 2 cars versus how much space it requires to live in, and they're about the same. So the partnership took a pretty deep dive into parking issues a few years ago. We started with kind of mapping out where is all of the parking in downtown, and then who owns it, and how much does it cost, and how much is it utilized, et cetera. So we have lots of data to kind of to back up a lot of the claims and recommendations that we made. Bottom line is we found that there is available parking Although if you asked 9 out of 10 people when we started this, how do you solve downtown parking problem, they would say, well, the city needs to build a new parking garage. So we found the parking, and then we went and we counted how many cars were and weren't there. And even at the peak demand times, we found there's 6,000 empty spaces. So what that tells us is that we actually do have parking, we're not sharing it very well. So still need to make a lot of good strides in that department. But we also tried to do some data gathering on how far people are willing to walk and how walkable are downtown. And you know, the truth is you can get almost anywhere downtown within about a 10-minute walk. So you know, that opens up a lot of parking opportunities for people if they're willing to, again, fit 10 minutes of exercise in on either end of their day. But you know, everything is set up really to get that beloved monthly parking pass and nothing else. So we looked at parking from many different angles, and then we got around to kind of what the codes are requiring. We found that parking needs to be considered by both public and private sector, and then at the Tampa Downtown Partnership, we kind of are in a unique position to kind of liaise between the two. So you can see here, this is not trend setting here in the city of Tampa in any way. In fact, this probably doesn't go near as far as it needs to, but at the time this was discussed, you know, this has been 2 years in the making really. This was kind of a baby step in the right direction. So we will, I think, continue to see more and more changes to how we require parking. So, you know, they kind of gave you some high level of what we tried to do, but this just generally goes through kind of the main bullet points. We didn't do anything as radical as putting a parking maximum, like the most you can build. We basically just said you have to build, we're requiring you to build less. No, I'm sorry, we're not requiring. We're allowing you to build less if you want to build less. The parking requirements are already kind of low at the city. And then we said, you know, if it's like a retail or a pharmacist or a restaurant, you shouldn't have to have parking in your downtown. We've got plenty of parking all around, including on street, that you can utilize. So we tried to break it down by different use types. We also tried to recognize other modes. So maybe you could put in some bicycle parking to reduce some of the car parking requirements as an example. And just try to add in some flexibility. The code is pretty unwieldy to work with, so I think it just generally needs to kind of be streamlined. So we tried to make our recommendations within the current code, which was kind of hard to do, but also just trying to, again, make those steps to keep inching toward that multimodal future that I think a lot of us want to see. So, you know, there's lots of charts and tables, and we tried to kind of clean that up a little bit. And then the last slide that I presented to council was, you know, there's lots of other things that we could be doing, but again, this is just kind of a step in the right direction. So I think that's the last slide. So sorry to be so brief, but I didn't want to bore you too much on the parking topic.
Thank you.
I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Commissioner Kress. We didn't have anyone sign up for public comment on this one, so I'll turn it over to commissioners. Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and great presentation, Ms. Kress.
Thank you.
I was just curious with your research on there's average of 6,000 like parking spaces. I know that there's a lot of improvements in like systems letting people know like where parking is, like what the airport recently done, which has been so great. Is there any chance that we're going to have something through the partnership or through the city of Tampa that there's going to be like information like through an app that like, hey, you know where you can go, you know, for parking? Because that would be, you know, really helpful.
Yeah, know before you go, and then also when you come downtown, kind of like a variable message board or something like that. Yeah, it's only going to get better as the technology improves. The city's parking budget has always been a loss leader. So it's maybe been hard for them to justify a lot of capital improvements when the city doesn't bring in any money in parking. And that's kind of also when you think about the general taxpayers' thoughts, you know, like why should they be subsidizing downtown parking? So we did a lot of gave a lot of thought to the pricing of parking as well. But so they being the city are going through and enhancing the technology in the garages. And once that enhanced technology is in place, it'll allow them to do things like know before you go. It'll allow you to have more than just a either a daily rate or a monthly parking, because with the hybrid work environment, it's almost kind of a waste for a lot of people to have that monthly parking space. Then you're locking up a parking space that someone else can't use, et cetera. So I think we'll see more and more strides on the operational end of it. It's a good question.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. Yes, Commissioner Soria.
Thank you for the good presentation. I had a question. You mentioned we'll be requiring less parking, but is there a specific numbers for what kind of parking? Is it mostly like it would include for cars or motorcycles or bicycles, or specific number for each kind of vehicle, or?
Yeah, well, the formulas would basically, if you can replace a certain number of car parking spaces with, for instance, you can fit 12 bicycles in the space of one car parking.
Okay.
And then I think it was 2 or 4 motorcycles. I can't remember all the numbers off the top of my head.
Okay.
But yeah, and then, you can also do compact spaces as opposed to large spaces. So there's a lot of different ways to slice and dice it.
Okay. So, for example, if, say, like less required parking is number 4 required parkings, so those 4 could be either motorcycles or cars or bicycle. Doesn't have to be 4 cars.
Yeah, this is trying to give the developer a little more flexibility.
Okay.
How they want to handle that. And again, we're not requiring them to build less, we're just giving them the option to.
Okay.
Especially, hopefully, it directly relates to affordability that way.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Soria. Yeah, that was my question too. I had a concern about the requirements. I'm glad you stated it clearly that it's not a requirement.
Yeah.
It's an option, because I wasn't happy with it as thinking of the whole thing as a requirement, but that completely changes it for me. I did have some questions for you though regarding the research, because you know me in research, so you had to know this was coming. But did you all look at accumulation rates or anything like that, or the turnover rates for the spots? Did you look over any specific data on that stuff, like, if one car pulls in at a certain time and one car pulls in again and then the first car pulls out, there's like a overlap in time and things like that, or any of that sort of data? That deep?
Well, when we did our occupancy counts, no, we had to just kind of draw the line. If I counted that a car was there and I went around the corner and that car left, that car got counted as there.
Okay.
So you just kind of had to, when you passed by, if the car was there, the car was there. Now, we also did this with on-street spaces, and we went out with off-street, we went out 3 times a day, and then with on-street, we did 4 times a day, because there's, you want to see more of a turnover with the on-street.
Right.
It used to be also that it was cheaper to park on-street than off-street, so now that's been right-sized by the city. So the most convenient, juiciest spaces should cost the most. So now it's a little bit more per hour to park on-street than it is to park off-street. So.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't real scientific. You probably would have been disappointed, but we literally, with a clipboard, walked every single parking lot and garage. Now, as the garage technologies increase and they keep better counts, we'll be able to just use that information in the future. But we have tried to make it a best practice to go back every fall and redo these counts. Now, we took a pause during COVID, but we do plan to do it again this fall. So it's going to be really interesting to see kind of, who's still parking in downtown.
I think it was very scientific. Actually, your results speak to the scientific nature of it. If you go back in traffic parking history and look at results from studies done years and years and years and eons ago, they find pretty much the same thing you do. If you go around most metro regions around the nation and look at parking garages, they're actually a lot emptier than most people believe and most people complain about. So your outcomes speak to the scientific nature of it. I think the reason I bring up the accumulation rates and things like that is because when you get into that sort of data, it starts to show you where the hot spots are in the city, right? And when we're talking about on-street parking, or off-street parking, really, sorry, not on-street parking, and minimizing that big footprint that we have, we kind of want to focus the parking in those probably areas. So that's a way of finding, right, those areas where people are actually driving to and needing the parking in those areas. Those
yeah,
kind of hotspot
one of the
maps.
graphs shows the utilization by the height of the building. I don't know whether you caught that. So we kind of know
Something
where
like-
the demand is.
Okay.
And then there is an app called Park Mobile that you can use to pay for parking. So, we were able to get some data from them
Very
as
cool.
well. This parking garage in this building is a perfect example of why you don't want to do a bunch of reserved parking spaces. For any of you who have ever parked in here, you pass many, many, many empty reserved parking spaces till you get to the ones that everyone can use. So
Right.
it's a good model of what not to do. Sorry, County.
All right. Thank you. Were there any more questions or discussion from Commissioner Bernstein?
Really more of a comment. Thanks, and it's great to see a member of the commission on the other side of the podium every once in a while. But I wanted to thank you for your leadership and for the partnership's leadership as well on such an important issue. And
Thank you.
to the extent this can move the needle, even a little bit on the affordability issue, that alone to me is worth exploring. And so pleased to see the good work you all put into this, and thanks for the effort.
Thank you.
Can I ask one more question of personal curiosity? What are you all looking at towards decreasing that footprint? Obviously, we have a lot of surface parking spread out everywhere throughout downtown, and you showed in that one slide. I mean, it's pretty significant, and that's not really the best use of downtown land. So.
Yeah, I mean, surface parking lots are developments waiting to happen, pretty much. The good news is there's some renewed interest in a kind of a forgotten pocket of downtown. And I think we're going to see some new development. So we're able to talk with them as a group about doing a shared parking strategy. Instead of each development having its own parking, we might be able to have a garage right in the middle. Water Street has done a little of this too. So I think moving forward, we might see some new parking added, but it'll be in a more thoughtful kind of, community-minded way.
Very good, very good. All right. Yes, Commissioner Orton, please.
I just have a question. So if someone wants to develop, let's say, a restaurant downtown, they are no longer required to have a minimum amount of parking?
Yes, LaShawn Dock, Development Coordination, they will still be required to have a minimum required parking. The request before you would amend in the CBD, the parking table. So there's a parking table with required number of parking spaces in the CBD, Central Business District, and in the Channel District. So this request really kind of reduces that in half, the required parking for each use. But that parking table, that associated parking table would indicate the number of spaces required. And with the Channel District changes, in that table, that was a separate parking table from the permitted use table. And what this does is consolidate them into one so that it's similar to the CBD. But there is a requirement, it's just a minimum requirement, but this request pretty much cuts each use within the required parking by 50%.
Thank you. I had one more question for you, Commissioner Kress. Did you have one? You'll go for it. Okay. Did you, you obviously did because Downtown Partnership does this sort of thing. I'm wondering what the sentiment from the business community, the service industry really, not the business, service industry, because service industry people drive to it and need the parking sort of stuff. So people who need parking, like what did they have to say about all this?
Yeah, I probably should have been deliberate in mentioning that we did have a group of private stakeholders involved in this. Now, they weren't necessarily service industry workers, that were involved in that, but we did have good private sector support on this. Some people wanted us to go further with the recommendations. Some people wanted us to look at more than just downtown, but as the Tampa Downtown Partnership, that's really just what our purview is, so we only felt comfortable there. I can tell you that the city is interested in using this as a model to look at other neighborhoods, but I think that the numbers might adjust a little bit depending on how far you get from the urban core. So we've had, the whole parking plan has been very strategic in trying to have both public and private and parking operator input. We've met with, all the commercial property managers and leasing agents. They have very strong opinions on parking. And then you have kind of like the transit advocates who don't want to have any parking. So we try to, have a realistic balance between the two.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Commissioner Cardenas, yes.
I think about this and reminds me of being back home in Chicago where it feels like there's almost no parking requirement at all because everywhere you go, there's no parking. But I guess the question is, I see the two cities that you guys modeled off of, which I think are great cities to model off of. Did you guys look at what the parking requirements are in other cities that are much larger? Just out of curiosity, for the reason of looking at where are we going to? Of course our city's growing, but do we just want to turn on the spigot and let it run, or do we want to maintain a certain amount of not too much so that we still have the great city that we live in?
Yeah, well, we hired a consultant who does parking planning across the country So, we really rely on them to look at kind of the best practices from different sizes of cities. We need to be, pragmatic in our approach because we don't have a great robust transit system right now to get everybody out of their car, but we also need to keep making those transit-ready moves to get us there. So, I think we were able to strike a pretty good balance of some steps in the right direction, but not going, further than our market really is ready for at this point. Was there a second question in there that I'm?
I guess I don't know if you guys got into getting what requirements were in other bigger cities in comparison to where this takes us in comparison to that.
Yeah, I'm positive that our consultant looked at all that. Like I said, this has been like 2 years ago that we did this research, so I don't remember specifically what cities we were talking about at the time, but they do this across the country. We worked with Stantec on it, so it's a big engineering firm.
All right, thank you.
I'm glad you guys are so interested in parking. It sounds like it sounds like a really boring subject, but it really does make a big impact on the whole transportation network. So
It does. All right. Any more discussion or questions from the commissioners? Not seeing any more lights at this time. I'll go ahead and close public comment on this item and open it up to motions on the item from the commissioners. If there be, Commissioner Bernstein.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I would move that we find the proposed LDC text amendment relating to amending the parking requirements in the central business and channel districts consistent with the goals, policies, and objectives of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, and that we pass that recommendation along to the Tampa City Council for their consideration.
All right, that's a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Bernstein. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, second to that motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Buzza. Is there any more discussion from the commissioners or questions on this item? Seeing none at this time, I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Buzza,
Yes.
Cardenas,
Yes.
Fernandez,
Yes.
Kress,
abstain.
Powell,
Yes.
Saria,
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 7-0. Commissioner Kress abstained.
Thank you. All right, our next item up for action is item 3C, the Executive Director's Compensation Review, which I am the presenter for, so I guess I'll take it away. In your package for this meeting, you all should have received the information on our Executive Director's compensation or current contract and some comparable information on what our staff received as performance reviews and compensation increases. I wanted to bring this back before us at this time to have a discussion now that everybody's had a chance to do her review and look at all the points and tallies and also talk to her following that to discuss the potential for compensation increases. If anyone was interested. Before I guess we get to that, I wanted to get anyone's thoughts on the review. If anyone had any other questions for Ms. Zornita, questions for me, questions for our attorney stand-in, or the team who did the calculations, the numbers, no, all right. Well, I know for my part in the whole thing, looking at the totals from the review and what we've done in the past, I was looking at a 4% increase. I know Commissioner Buzz has been on the commission before and been through this process. I didn't know if he had any opinion on that or any sort of advice.
Historically, Mrs. Zornina has done a spectacular job for the commission. Honestly, I'm not opposed to the remarkable rating of 4.25.
Yeah. I would tend to agree with Commissioner Buzza, but I have a pretty close relationship with Ms. Zornita, so I try to temper it down a little bit there, but she definitely is remarkable, so I'll yield to that. And 4.25, if anybody had any more input on that or any thoughts, Commissioner Kress?
I'll just say, the table, the mean ends up being 4.31, so I think the 4.25 is certainly justified by this table.
Very good. And at 4.25, over $6,000. In the past, we've thought about bonusing you and splitting that up in some sort of way to try and control, right, the creep of the overall salary growth, because obviously there's a percentage increase. We do this pretty often. I didn't know if you would be amenable to something like that, discussing something like that, or if the commissioners had any thoughts on that. Again, Commissioner Buzzer probably the only one who's been here long enough to deal with things like that, like me. So,
Yeah. In years past, we've done a mix of both. You know, I think this year would be more important to make it a permanent part of the salary base, just based on what's going on with the economy and the inflation situation that we have.
It's a good point. It's a good point. All right. Is there any further discussion of that or thoughts against? I mean, I'm in agreement with Commissioner Buzz on that. Just going ahead and put it in the salary instead of making it split up.
Just to, can I?
Yeah, yes, please, go ahead. Sorry.
I understand it's part of the salary, but is there increment in the benefits as well, or just the salary?
That does impact the contribution that's made to the Florida retirement system on my behalf, it may also impact the percentage that the county contributes to deferred compensation.
Okay.
Yeah, but
That's good.
that's the only ones that I think are tied to the salary.
That's a good thing.
And can I ask, where are you in comparison to like some other administrators around the county? Not that we should do those kinds of direct comparisons, but salary-wise, are you way above everyone else? Is everyone else way above you?
I don't think that I'm way above everyone else, but I also, I have not looked recently at what, for example, the Development Services Director for the county makes, or some of the comparable positions in that regard.
But they have been back to giving increases at the county, right?
Yes, the county staff has been. Our HR manager was able to find out that they provided the county attorney a 5% increase, as well as their internal auditor, which are two positions that report directly to the BOCC. We believe the county administrator's reviews on a different cycle, so we haven't heard about what that one is.
Okay. All right.
I can also add that the TPO gave Ms. Alden a 4.25% increase as well.
All right. Was there any more discussion, or did any of the commissioners have any thoughts or input on any of this? Do we have to, I'll ask our attorney, do we have to do an action on this, or, yeah? Yeah, okay. All right, so I guess I will open it up to motions on this item from the commissioners for a 4.2% wage increase.
I move that we raise Mrs. Ornita's pay by 4.25% for this fiscal year.
Second.
All right, I have a motion to raise it by 4.25% from Commissioner Buzza. Second to that motion by Commissioner Powell. No? Yeah, okay. Is there any more discussion of this item by the commissioners? Thoughts or comments? No? I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item at this time.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Buzza,
Yes.
Cardenas,
Yes.
Fernandez,
Yes.
Kress,
Yes?
Powell,
Yes.
Saria,
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 8-0.
Thank you very much. And congratulations, Ms. Zornita. All right, moving on to our next item of business. It is 3D, an update to the city's plan amendment procedures manual, and the presenter is Mr. Mark Hudson.
Mark Hudson, Planning Commission staff. Glad to be here this afternoon. We are proposing a minor edit to the city's procedures manual, and this is response to a recommendation made by the Plant City Planning Board, and it does only affect the city of Plant City. Currently, within our procedures manual, Plant City is the only jurisdiction of the four that we serve that does not require the placement of signs for plan amendments. The Plant City Planning Board felt that they wanted to offer that opportunity to engage those citizens and to do that additional outreach. I do want to make clear Plant City goes well beyond the statutory requirements as far as notification. They notify everyone within 250 feet. They place advertisements in the Tampa Times, place the items on their website, but historically they have not required signage. And this edits that are in the packet that you have shows how that edit would take place, or what minor edits we'd have to make for the City Commission's consideration. And we're looking for your input as far as to concur with the Planning Board's recommendation and staff's recommendation to take this forward to the City Commission for their review. If it was enacted by the City Commission after your recommendation and the Planning Board's recommendation, it would become effective on their September 1st plan amendment cycle coming up in a couple months. And that pretty much covers the issue, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. Again, we're looking for your comments concerning the attached resolution.
All right, thank you, sir. There is no one to sign up for a public comment on this item, so I will turn it over to the commissioners for this item. Questions or comments? Not seeing any at this time. I will open it up for motions on this item. Commissioner Bernstein?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I would move that we find, or that as a planning commission, we adopt the a resolution to recommend to the Plan City Commission that the proposed sign posting edits be approved in the city's procedure manual requiring signs to be placed that notice the hearing dates for map amendments to the Imagine 2040 Plant City Comprehensive Plan.
All right.
Second?
All right, that's a motion to adopt the recommendation, adopt the resolution to recommend by Commissioner Bernstein, a second to that motion by Commissioner Buzza. Is there any more discussion of this item by the commissioners? Questions? Nope, not seeing any. I will ask the clerk to do a roll call vote on this item at this time.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Buzza,
Yes.
Cardenas,
Yes.
Hernandez,
Yes.
Kress,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Saria,
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 8-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hudson. All right, next up we have a gaggle of briefings. First up on our briefing list is 4A, update to Hillsborough County Plan Amendment Procedures Manual, and the presenter is Unica Mills.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Unica Mills, Planning Commission staff. Let's go back here. Again, good afternoon, Commissioners. Unica Mills, Planning Commission staff. I'm here to present the Hillsborough County Plan Amendment Procedures Manual update. As you may, or some of you may not know, the Procedures Manual is the document that guides the process for the plan amendments for unincorporated Hillsborough County. The Procedures Manual has not been revised for some time now. The current version of the Procedures Manual that's in use today hasn't been revised since 2016. So in 2020, Planning Commission staff started a total revamp of the Procedures Manual for unincorporated Hillsborough County. With that revamp, it was decided that the jurisdictions of Plant City, Temple Terrace, Tampa should have their own separate Procedures Manual. So Hillsborough County will now have a standalone Procedures Manual. Additionally, the layout as well as the graphics were totally redone. In January of 2021, Planning Commission staff bought the revamped version of the Procedures Manual before you all. However, the adoption of that manual was halted due to some changes in legislation that would affect the language that was in the Procedures Manual. You all have a backup before you today of the strike-through and underlined version of the changes that are being proposed.
This proposal was distributed to county legal as well as Mr. Tracy Robin, Planning Commission legal staff. With the new manual, privately initiated plan amendments will only be able to come before the Planning Commission or be able to submit applications twice a year. Currently, privately initiated plan amendments can submit January 1st, April 1st, July 1st, and October 1st. Now they will only be able to submit a proposed text amendment during the January 1st plan amendment cycle and the July 1st plan amendment cycle. Additionally, privately text amendments will have to now go before the Board of County Commissioners to determine if the proposed text amendment can proceed or not proceed through the plan amendment process. So that's a big change for the privately initiated text amendments. Also, with the update to the procedures manual, all references again were removed of the other jurisdictions of Tampa Terrace, and Plant City. Another change is that small-scale amendments are now considered to be 50 acres rather than 10 acres due to House Bill 487. Additionally, small-scale amendments must be submitted during a set schedule. Within the current procedures manual, small-scale amendments were able to come in at any time to apply. Also, with the new manual, if a citizen is notified of a plan amendment, they have the opportunity to request a neighborhood meeting, and the applicant has to have that neighborhood meeting due to the request change. With that, we elongated the signposting for applicants for unincorporated Hillsborough County. Right now, an applicant would have to notify by sign notice. We give them 14 days, but the change would be that they would have to put out a sign for a plan amendment within 21 days. And that was due to us trying to give the applicant more time just in case a neighborhood meeting was needed. Also, another change was the notice distance requirement currently within the procedures manual is 250 feet. We did some research of adjacent jurisdictions, Pasco, Manatee, Hernando, Charlotte County, and a lot of the adjacent jurisdictions have a notice distance requirement of 500 feet. So we did make that change within our procedures manual. An additional change to the Hillsborough County Procedures Manual. If an applicant chooses to continue a plan amendment, it would now or may be subject to a continuation fee of $351. And that's if the plan amendment necessitates preparation of additional materials on staff's part. It may be subject, again, to that $351 fee. Another major change for the update to the Procedures Manual, all comprehensive plan amendments in unincorporated Hillsborough County will now need an affirmative vote of at least a majority +1 of the total membership of the Board of County Commissioners to be adopted. So that's another major change of the update to the Procedures Manual. Today, the strike through and underline in your backup packet is there for your review and feedback. I will be back before you at the July 11th Planning Commission meeting, and I will present at that meeting the newly formatted version for you all to take action on. After that, the Procedures Manual will go before the Board of County Commissioners for transmittal and adoption. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Any questions on this item? Yes, Commissioner Powell, please go ahead.
Thank you. I just want to clarify what I heard, that it's going to take 5 votes for the Board of County Commissioners to approve?
That is correct for all plan amendments. Now, currently, as it stands, map amendments, it takes, I want to get it right, 4 votes. Text text amendments take 4 votes, map amendments take 5 votes. So the thought process, I believe, behind that was it should just be equally the number of votes for both map as well as text amendments that are needed.
And if I can just add to that, that was a change that the Board of County Commissioners made in the private property rights element that was, came before you all 6 months ago about, maybe not even that long. But that we were required to have a private property rights element. As part of that, the Board of County Commissioners, as you may recall, asked us to come back with a more robust private property rights element that followed the Thousand Friends of Florida model. And as part of that, within that, they adopted a policy that requires a supermajority vote now on all plan amendments. So really, we are just making the procedures manual comply with what the board adopted into the comprehensive plan.
And that manual went over and beyond the requirement, though, correct, from the state legislature?
Yes, what the BOCC adopted as part of the private property rights element did include provisions such as that, that were not required by the state legislature.
Are there any more questions or comments on this item? Discussion from the commissioners?
Can I have
Commissioner
one
Onita,
more
yes.
thing?
Yeah.
Okay. I just also wanted to point out that the change in the process to the privately initiated text amendments was also direction that we were given by the Board of County Commissioners. They have a process for privately initiated land development code amendments where somebody can apply, and then they go to the Board of County Commissioners to decide whether or not the board agrees that they should move forward in the process or not. And it was their direction that they wanted to see a similar process for privately initiated plan amendment, text amendments to the comprehensive plan. Map amendments will still happen the way they happen today, but the privately initiated text amendments, once we understood that they wanted that more robust process, I think it was our suggestion that we limit that to twice a year, because that's going to be a more challenging process for us to maintain.
I had a question. Oh, Commissioner Bernstein.
Thank you for that. And just a quick follow-up on the point you just raised. All things being equal, would you expect that to have a downward pressure on the number of text amendment cases that come before this body, or no impact at all?
Well, when this came up before the board, which was probably about a year ago now, we looked, and we typically get at most one a year privately initiated text amendment. This year it's the Energy Industrial Park. We had a text amendment to that, but they're not that common. What I think will probably happen now is that because we have not seen a lot of privately initiated text amendments to the land development code since they initiated that process about 5 or 6 years ago. I think what'll happen is that if somebody wants a change, they'll either come and work with staff on making that change, or they'll go and have the BOCC or the Planning Commission direct us to make that change. That's just my opinion, but I think they won't go through that more difficult process, or it'll be very rare.
Commissioner Powell.
Sorry, just a follow-up question. How many counties in Florida require a supermajority? Do we know?
I don't know the answer to that question. I can bring it back.
Could you? That'd be great.
Yeah, it's a briefing, so.
Yeah.
Good question. And this was, I just wanted to make sure this was BOCC, publicly initiated. This came from the board.
Well, some of the changes in here were, some of them, we were trying to streamline the manual and make it more clear, and separate out the cities from the county, because the county does have some unique procedures only to them. And, the issue of the privately initiated text amendment additional process was directed by the BOCC. And then the addition of the neighborhood meeting and the supermajority vote came from the private property rights element that they adopted.
Okay. Thank you. Any more from the commissioners? Not seeing any at this time. Well, thank you for the information.
Thank you.
And move on to our next briefing. 4B, HCCPA 21-17, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, Orcelly Drive and North Kingsway Road, sorry. Presenter Andrea Pappendrew.
Sorry. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Andrea Pappendrew with your Planning Commission staff. This is Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan Amendment 2117, Orcelly Drive and North Kingsway Road. So this is a privately initiated small-scale map amendment. Site is approximately 5.21 acres. The current future land use is residential 4. So this did come before the Planning Commission on October 4th for a 2021 public hearing, and it was found inconsistent for the original request of residential 9. The application went before the Board of County Commissioners at the January 13th public hearing, and the applicant requested that this plan amendment be continued to the March 10th, 2022 public hearing at the board considers a revised request of residential 6. So this also went to the March 10th, 2022 Board of County Commissioners public hearing with the revised request of residential 6, and the board continued this to the April 2022 plan amendment cycle. So this is coming back through the plan amendment cycle for April. The applicant did submit a new application for the revised request of residential 6. So the site is located in the urban service area and the Seffner Mango Community Plan. Shown on the screen is an aerial of the site and the surrounding area. The site is east of North Kingsway Road, south of Interstate 4, and north of Orcelly Drive. The site is outlined in red. There is an existing single-family residential property located kind of in a cutout rectangle shape on the southwestern portion of the site. This property is not included in the plan amendment. The plan amendment is only for the portion of the site that is shaded in yellow. So the site is currently vacant residential. To the north, east, and west of the site are single-family and vacant residential properties. Immediately to the south of the site is a single-family residential subdivision. Addition to the west of the site across North Kingsway Road are public institutional uses, including the Higginbotham Park and the Burnett Middle School. The adopted future land use category is residential 4. Residential 4 surrounds the site on the east, west, and south. North across Interstate 4 is the agricultural estate 1 and 2.5, the residential 1 and the residential 2 future land use categories. So the request before you today is to change the residential 6 future land use category. And this is the revised request. The original request from the July 2021 cycle was for residential 9. Moving from residential 4 to the residential 6 future land use category would increase the units by 11 for a total of 31 units allowed on site. The FAR would remain the same at a 0.25. So this shows the back of the site immediately abutting Interstate 4. There is no exit ramp from Interstate 4 to Kingsway Road. So that concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the commissioners on this item? All right, seeing none, thank you for the presentation and move on to our next item. 4C, it's a briefing on HCCPA 22-06, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, Williams Road and East Sly Avenue, and the presenter is Carla Llanos.
Good afternoon. Let me pull up the presentation. Good afternoon, Carla Llanos with Planning Commission staff. This is a privately initiated small-scale comprehensive plan amendment. It's 22-06, Williams Road and Sly Avenue in the unincorporated Hillsborough County area. The project is approximately 10.3 acres in size. It's in the rural service area in the Tono-Tosassa Community Plan. The property is located at 7100 Williams Road in Seffner, east of Interstate 75 and Williams Road, north of Interstate 4, and south of Sly Avenue East. The plan amendment was part of the January cycle. However, since then, the applicant has revised the request, and they requested a continuance to this cycle, the April cycle. The enlarged and existing and proposed future land use maps have been provided in your packets for your review. The property has an adopted future land use of residential 1, which allows farms, ranches, residential uses, rural scale neighborhood commercial uses, offices, and multi-purpose projects. Now, the proposed future land use is residential 4, which also allows residential. However, it allows suburban scale neighborhood commercial, office uses, and multi-purpose projects. The property is surrounded in a sea of residential 1. And residential 4 can be found to the northwest of the property, which is approximately 4,000 linear feet away. The community mixed use 12 and the suburban mixed use 6 is found to the southeast. And there are pockets of public, quasi-public use on the west side of Interstate 75. And usually that's, I think that's owned by Tampa Executive Airport. And there is light industrial plan future land use that can also be found west of I-75. Now, if you see it on the screen there, this is what I say that, you know, it's in a sea of residential 1, and then you have residential 4 in this area over here. And then obviously the light industrial is on the other side of the interstate. Now, the subject property, again, is in the residential 1 future land use category, which allows a standard density of 1 dwelling unit to the acre, and it produces a 0.25 floor area ratio. Okay, this would allow the property to have 10 dwelling units or 109,000 square feet of non-residential use. The applicant is proposing residential 4 future land use category, which is a suburban land use category that allows up to 4 dwelling units an acre and a floor area ratio of 0.25. Under the proposed, the property would allow for 40 dwelling units or 109,000 square feet of non-residential use. It does increase the density in the rural area. Now, on this slide, I've listed some of the applicable dates that are coming up next. I will continue my review in the meantime, and I will provide a full staff report before the public hearing. And I will be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the commissioners or discussion of this item? Yes, Commissioner Cardenas.
Do we have any idea what they're playing as? Apartments, houses?
So at this point, we're basically changing the color on the map. So nothing has been submitted in the rezoning stage at all, but typically it allows residential, suburban, multi-purpose projects. It's really broad at this point until they come in and say, we're gonna do townhomes, which is considered single family, or say they're proposing, I don't know, a commercial apartment, which probably won't fit there. But again, we don't know at this stage because it's still early in the process.
All right. Are there any more questions from the commissioners or comments on this item? Not seeing any, we'll thank you for the presentation, and we'll move on to our next item of business. And that is 4D, Hccpa 22-09, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, South US Highway 41 and County Line Road, and the presenter is Jillian Massey.
Good afternoon, members of the commission. This is Jillian Massey with your Planning Commission staff. This afternoon, I'll be presenting a briefing on Hccpa 22-09, which is US Highway 41 and County Line Road. Before you this afternoon is a privately initiated small-scale map amendment. The subject site is approximately 7.7 acres in size. It has a combination of natural preservation, agricultural rural 1 to 5, and light industrial planned land use designations. Of the 7.7 acres, there's 6.35 acres of natural preservation, 1.02 acres of agricultural rural 1 to 5, and 0.33 acres of light industrial plan. So the majority of the site is designated as natural preservation. And the applicant would like to change this site to light industrial planned. This is a location map of the April 2022 cycle of comprehensive plan amendments. Hccpa 22-09 is located at the southernmost boundary of Hillsborough unincorporated county. The site's located in the rural area and within the limits of the Little Manatee South and South Shore community plans. This is an aerial photo of the site where you can see the highlighted triangular parcel on the north side of US Highway 41. The CSX Railroad runs along the northern boundary of the site, and further north and west there are agricultural uses. Adjacent light industrial uses along the north side of US Highway 41 include open storage of trailers, RVs, boats, and trucks, and a lumber yard. And you can see here on the aerial photo where these uses exist. East and south of the site across Highway 41, there's forested, agriculturally designated land, and this falls right at the boundary of Manatee County. Further south down US Highway 41 into Manatee County, there's a small airport and a correctional facility. This is the adopted future land use map. As I mentioned earlier, the subject site has three designations, mainly natural preservation, but also a small portion, including agricultural, rural 1 to 5, and light industrial planned. As you can see, on the north side of US Highway 41, adjacent to the site, there is a section designated as light industrial planned. To the north, there is agricultural, rural 1 to 5, and natural preservation. As you can see outlined in the greenish hatching here, there is the coastal high hazard area. This particular site is not located in the coastal high hazard area, however. And also, as you can see, designated here in the blue hatching, there are wetlands in the area. As mentioned, the proposed future land use for the site is light industrial planned. Impacts of the proposed change to light industrial planned would decrease the residential density and increase the commercial intensity that's permitted. So currently one dwelling unit is permitted, and the change to light industrial planned would no longer allow for residential uses. And as you could see, there's a increase in commercial or non-residential development potential here. That concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, thank you.
All right, are there any questions from the commissioners on this item? Any discussion of this item? Not seeing any. We will thank you for the information and move on to our next item of business. 4E, Hccpa 22-10, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, Tony Alessi Senior Avenue, formerly known as West Comanche Avenue and Anderson Road. Presenter is Carla Llanos.
Good afternoon again. Carla Llanos with Planning Commission staff. This is a privately initiated small-scale comprehensive plan map amendment 2210, Tony Alessi Senior Avenue, formerly known as Comanche Avenue, and Anderson Road in the unincorporated Hillsborough County area. The property is 10.4 acres in size in the Tampa service area, and it's also in the Town and Country Community Plan. The property is accessible from Comanche Avenue. However, please note that the street was recently renamed Tony Alessi Senior Avenue. Some of the map series may still reflect Comanche Avenue because they haven't been updated. It's just so recent. Now, the property is located south of Comanche Avenue west of Hesperides Street north, east of Anderson Road, and north of West Hillsborough Avenue. Now, again, you do have your enlarged existing and proposed future land use maps, which are located in your packets. The property has an adopted future land use of office commercial 20, and they are proposing to go to light industrial future land use category. The existing future land use allows community commercial type uses, office uses, mixed use developments, and compatible residential uses. The proposed light industrial view allows processing, manufacturing, assembly of materials, warehouse, showrooms, with limited retail of about 20% of the floor area. Now, the area is composed mostly of industrial uses, with a few single-family residential to the north and 2 public schools to the east. The subject site is less than 300 feet from the city of Tampa to the south. So that yellow dashed line that you see here on the screen, that is the city limits, basically. Okay, so again, the city of Tampa does have similar industrial and public, quasi-public future land use categories. Now, existing and proposed, so again, the subject site is 10.4 acres in size. The property, the OC20 future land use, the existing category, it will allow a density of 20 dwelling units to the acre or a floor area ratio of 0.75. This would allow for a maximum of 208 dwelling units or approximately 340,000 square feet of non-residential use. The proposed light industrial future land use designation will eliminate the potential for residential density. And it's going to include industrial uses, right? But the floor area ratio is not going to change. It's going to remain the same as you see on the screen. They're both the same. That's about it. Yep. Okay. So again, I listed the dates for the upcoming BOCC briefing, public hearing, which is on July 11th, and the final adoption hearing, which is August 11th as well. So I will stand if you have any questions about this one, but otherwise it's pretty straightforward.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments, discussion of this one from the commissioners? Not seeing any. Well, thank you for the presentation and move on to our next item of business. Agenda item 5, the Executive Director's Report, presented by Ms. Melissa Zornita.
Thank you so much, Melissa Zornita, Executive Director. Thank you again for your action on the earlier agenda item. I really appreciate your confidence in me, and it really is quite a privilege to be in this role, so thank you. Sharon sent out the Executive Director's Report, I believe on Friday, just to highlight a couple of things. We had the opportunity to have an orientation meeting with our new City Council person, Lynn Hertak, earlier. Well, I guess that was in May. We have been doing quite a bit of work with the City of Tampa on their comprehensive plan update. The vision survey just closed, I guess it was the end of last week. So we're starting to look at the results of that. We have kicked off a land use assessment, which you all approved the awarding of that contract in April. And so we've had a kickoff and a couple of meetings on that topic. And so that has been going very well, and we've been working quite closely with the city on that. They've got some work coming forward at a workshop next week on accessory dwelling units and missing middle housing that we've been collaborating with them on, as well as we'll be reporting back on the mixed use research that was done. That's probably been 6 months ago now that was in front of you all. I was requested by the city of Claremont to come over and do a planning commissioners training. They heard what a great planning commission we have here, and wanted to get some feedback for their commissioners. And so that was kind of fun to get to talk to a different group and share some of the best practices that you all do as a board. So I like the opportunities to get to brag on you all a bit, because we've got a really great board. We were requested by the Board of County Commissioners to participate in an agenda item regarding gopher tortoise protections, and ultimately most of the things that the board wants to do are related to changes to the Land Development Code, but they have asked for some enhanced language in the comprehensive plan on that topic. That'll be coming forward in the July cycle of plan amendments. The
week of Memorial Day, we had our Future Leaders in Planning program, and a couple of commissioners got to participate in that. We had about 15 high school students who participated this year. It was a really fantastic group of kids. It's very inspiring by the last day to see their final presentations. Commissioner Joseph was there, and you know, you don't necessarily get when they're walking around on a tour that they're paying attention to all of these things, but when they start to put it down on paper, you're like, wow, they really got it and they really understood. Commissioner Kress had a project that they got to work on as well. So it was really a great week for them. Staff right now is 3 days a week going out for 1 hour a day to 3 summer camps that are geared towards elementary and middle school with our Flip Junior program. There's one in Palm River, one in Tampa Heights, and one in Town and Country that we go and give a little lesson to each week about a different planning topic. So Flip Junior continues through the middle of July. We've had a number of meetings recently on the concept that we presented to you last month, I believe, on the bus emphasis corridors in the unincorporated county as part of their update of their future land use element, focusing some of the growth along existing bus routes and looking at opportunities to have some higher density development in those areas. We have a current contract with HDR who's been doing some work helping us on that. And I wanted to let you all know that it looks like we're gonna need to increase that contract. Right now it's for $25,000. They're coming back with a proposal this week on how much that will need to increase. The county has identified some areas where they'd also like to see us in a companion way update the land development code to match these concepts and make sure that the plan language is carried forward into an overlay in the code. So that would be the work that HDR would be doing. I don't anticipate it going beyond the $50,000 that is my contracting limit, but I did want you all to know that there is a change potentially to that contract. Lastly, we got some exciting news at the end of last week that for many of you all, you will remember all the hearings on the residential planned to the RP2 village for the unincorporated county. And that had been challenged through the Division of Administrative Hearings. There's a process in state law that landowners can challenge that. Mr. Collins and I participated in those hearings back in February, and we just got the decision that they upheld those comprehensive plan amendments, found that they were in compliance with the comprehensive plan. It was a nice validation of our work. So we look forward to those going into effect, hopefully, knock on wood, for many other challenges or appeals in the coming weeks. I just remind you that our next meeting is July 11th. We do have a Port of Tampa boat tour that we'll be offering as part of the Flip Junior group. Typically the Flip students, the high school students, get to go on a port boat tour. The port's boat was under repair, so they couldn't take them on the boat. So we've invited all of those students to come, as well as one of the Tampa Heights Flip Junior camp, and you all will all be invited as well. If you haven't gotten to go out and see the port from the water, it's really a really interesting perspective. And apparently this tour will be the first tour that we've gotten to take that'll go to the Spoil Islands. So that seems kind of cool too. So more information to come. I'll send that out via email. But with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Bernstein.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. Yeah, exciting to hear all the things that you've been up to over the last month. Real quick question on that second to last development regarding that favorable determination on the appeal. Is that the same matter as that EPG1 LLC at all? That's separate litigation.
It's separate. It's related, and our attorneys who, our outside counsel who helped us with, well, the EPG one has not been withdrawn. There has also been no activity on it for probably about 6 months. So there is a hearing upcoming where on that issue, but this was related but separate. And so we did have our outside counsel assist us in preparing for that matter. But yeah, unfortunately, that piece of litigation is not gone yet.
All right. Are there any more questions, comments from the commissioners? Not seeing any. Well, thank you for the information.
Thank you.
We'll move on to our next item of business. 6, other business, chair's business. I have none. Old business. Anyone? Going once, going twice? None. New business. Anyone? None. All right. Committee reports. Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to start with update on the awards program. We have the call for entries for our 40th annual Planning Design Awards has gone out. The early bird entries are due by Friday, July 22nd, and those are for $75 entry fee. Submissions after that are made through Monday, August the 15th, will pay the full entry fee of $195. The save the date for the event is going to be October 27th at 5 p.m. That's going to be at the Glazer Jewish Community Center. And right now, sponsors for this year's award program, if anyone is of interest or want to recommend, reach out to Lynn, please. So please put that on your calendar, and because that'll be a big one for 40th anniversary. So that's all I have for the PIC. For the TPO, I regret to inform everyone that I was not able to attend. Schedule conflict. I don't know if Melissa or anyone else happens to who have listened in that may want to.
Sure. Yeah, I did watch the Transportation Improvement Program public hearing was last Wednesday. I think that's right. And the tip was approved. There were a couple of minor changes to, I think, prioritize some projects differently, but nothing, like the order, but nothing was removed from the priorities.
Was there anything about the reapportionment? Is that
No, they did not have any topics on that at that meeting.
at the meeting? Okay.
Yeah.
And then for affordable housing, the board did meet this morning, and there was some discussions on some of the agenda items on just how they were presented and opening comments, and I thought personally that were really great. There's items that go on to the Board of County Commissioners like consent agenda that don't really come before the board. We sort of get notifications about it, you know, at the meeting, hey, this, you know, or things, and it was kind of postured that maybe, you know, to try to, for transparency, bring those items, you know, at least to the board, the advisory board, excuse me, for clarification or just so that we can maybe like weigh in on that, not necessarily give a like a yay or nay, but sort of like how our body operates, you know, and giving a recommendation to other municipalities. So I think it's a good thing. I don't know if the Tampa's board does, you know, the same thing or not, and Tony isn't here, so I can't really ask him about that. But we did get the numbers in, and this year we're getting from the Sadowski Trust $11 million for the SHIP program, and then the city, I believe, is getting $5 million. So I think there's $15 or $16 million that's like coming, you know, into the area for that. That's all I have.
Thank you. Yes, Commissioner Bernstein.
Thanks, Commissioner Powell. Real quick question on TPO. And you know you weren't able to make the last meeting, but you asked about reapportionment. Is that the issue involving our voting status as a member? So it doesn't sound like there's been any developments on that.
No, at the meeting that we had, it was, I think it was pretty evident by everyone else's opinion in the room that were non-elected officials that they were not, you know, in agreement. And that it was also Commissioner Cohen, I think, probably really put it best at what was put forth. It was probably a plan that wasn't going to get the governor's signature, as well. So there was discussion. I had brought it up, and some other people touched on it as well, about not by increasing, the presence, because we have that right by statute. I believe we can go up to 25 members according to statute. So leaving it sort of as is, but then increasing the BOCC's representation on there to, increase with the census, but still having our voice, having the port, having the airport, the expressway authority. So that was put back to staff, and I don't know when that's going to come back, but.
Yeah, because you're right, now that I'm thinking about it, the May TPO meeting happened since we've last met as this body. I believe that they will not be bringing that back until August, because the TPO does not meet in July. And I think it was the understanding there needed to be some more discussion, but yes, that the route basically that was being taken was not agreed upon by the TPO.
Interesting. Are there any comments or questions or discussions, Commissioner Powell? No? All right, and we'll move on to our, thank you, Commissioner Powell, for the information, and Ms. Ornita, the duo. We'll move on to our next item of business, which is adjournment. So at 4:10, I will call this meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody, and we will see you at 5:30 for the public hearings. All right, meeting adjourned.